All right, let's take care of the second part. Again, you're just doing your steps. And again, I'll do all the steps, but then, if you want to see the actual graph, A, plug it into your calculator, or B, you can look at the scanned key that will eventually make it up, assuming we ever make it back to school. And I have it sitting there on my desk waiting to be scanned. All right. So y-intercept first. And again, just plug in a 0 for x. So -3 times 0 squared plus a 12 times a 0 over a 0 squared minus a 2 times a 0. Hey, guess what? All those zeros. Y-intercept of 0. Okay, so when you graph it, it's at 0, 0. We got to check for wholes. When we factor the numerator, we get a -3x times an x minus a 4. And when we factor a denominator, we get an x times an x minus 2. If you look, these x's are going to cancel. And so you will have a hole in your graph at x equals 0, right? Because that's where it's canceling. And then what do we do next? We are doing the actual zeros. There we go. So step 1, step 2, set your numerator equal to 0. So either -3x equals a 0 or x minus 4 equals 0. Oops, equals 0. So x equals a 4. And over here on this one, you would get x equals 0, but remember you have a hole at x equals 0, and the hole supersedes everything else. So you really are just going to have a 0 at 4, 0. The next thing we need is vertical asymptotes. So x times an x minus 2 equals a 0. Remember your vertical asymptotes, you set your denominator equal to 0. And of course you'd get an x equals 0 and an x equals 2 from those two factors. But again, that is going away because there's supposed to be a hole at the graph. So you have one vertical asymptote at x equals 2. Hey, you are going to have you've got a horizontal asymptote because your degree in your numerator is squared. Your degree in denominator is also, well, your x is squared, so your degree is 2. So all you're doing is setting y equal to your leading coefficients, -3 over a 1. So you have I don't know why I wrote y again. There we go. Equals -3. That's what I wanted to say. So you've got a horizontal asymptote at y equals -3. Okay, so you've got your y-intercept, the hole at x equals 0. You've got your 0 at 4, 0. You've got a vertical asymptote at x equals 2. You've got a horizontal asymptote at y equals -3. This is our 0. And you don't need to worry about a slant asymptote because there is none. And then you just go sketch that graph. By the way, I forgot to go back and even though we found a y-intercept, yeah, that's going to go away too. So sometimes that's why we actually, and I actually even did it on the paper key that I wrote out. That's why we tend to find any holes first, because then we just know that whatever we find after that, if it matches up, then it doesn't work. So you don't actually have a y-intercept for this bad boy either. Sorry about that.